Messier. We're just watching the end of WrestleMania here. Cody and Roman Reigns and The Rock, Seth Rollins are in this big tag team match. Roman just connected with a nice Superman punch, gets a 2.5. Cody kicks out. So this match is going a bit longer than I thought, which is good. It's good to have a nice big epic filled main event. It looks like they're in the final stages of this match, so I'll just babble a little bit until it ends. And so far so good. I would say this has been a good WrestleMania night one. Maybe not a great one. I mean, if you remember that WrestleMania from several years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that ended with Steve Austin and Kevin Owens at the end of night one, and then the second night had McMahon and Pat McAfee and Austin came out again. I think that was 2 years ago, wasn't it? So that was really a great night one. Here goes Roman for a spear, reversed into a sunset. 2 count. Cody gets up, ducks a clothesline. Cody mounts the ropes, nails a Cody cutter. Didn't really get the whole thing. Seth with a nice big frog splash. Be interesting if Seth got the pin. Seth gets a 2.5. Really nice frog splash, though. They did play up that they said that Roman Reigns is battling leukemia right now. So, they're kind of building in these excuses. Earlier in the night, they did the same type of thing with Becky. They said that Becky had a 102-degree temperature this week. Who knows if this stuff is real or part of the storyline. I mean, years ago, Lex Luger was in a match for the NWA World title against Ric Flair on the Capital Combat pay-per-view, and they made a big deal about good old Lex having a temperature that week and having to drink fluids, and it actually turned out to be true, but he probably wasn't going to win that title that night anyway. So if you're live, this is, or if you're here in live time, this is Saturday night, 10:54 Eastern Standard Time. I'm watching this WrestleMania. Seth now going for something, gets powerbombed for his trouble. Roman Reigns not only battling leukemia, and good for him, but now he looks like he's got a bloody snout, a bloody nose. Roman goes in for a spear, gets punted. Cody comes in. Cody with kind of a mild super kick to the chest. Seth with a big super kick. Now a double super kick, kind of Uso style to Roman. Seth is kind of going crazy in the corner. Nice curb stomp. Cody scoops in. Cody now with the crossroads, going to go for the pin here. So you can get it. 1, 2. Nope. Referee got pulled out by The Rock. By the way, have you noticed that The Rock is the biggest guy in the match? Rock is about 51 years old, something like that. Rock is about 50, and he looks better than all these guys, to tell you the truth, which was pretty apparent at the beginning. Rock is bigger than his partner, his cousin, Roman Reigns. Rock is bigger by far than Cody and Seth. So anyway, it kind of goes back to that King Kong Bundy quote that he shits bigger than Chris Jericho. Roman Reigns just caught Cody with a good old-fashioned low blow. Roman bounces off a spear. This could be it if the referee was around. The Rock throwing the ref back in. Here's the ref. 1, 2. Nope. Cody gets his shoulder up. The Rock has really been great in this whole lead up to WrestleMania. By the way, if you're watching in live time, you can comment. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, you might have to go to the actual YouTube page, the One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan YouTube channel. Yes, I have more than one YouTube channel. I have about 5. This is one of the most active ones. This is the former Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel, but I kind of split up my internet stuff just to make it a little bit easier for the viewer. Roman now, brutal step kick, kind of a step on the face of Cody. I do have a good friend of mine is at WrestleMania, a couple of them. My buddy Tommy DiDucci and Jonathan Del Ponte are in Philadelphia live for this thing. They're somewhere in there, and they're having a good time. And Roman Reigns now has got a front face lock, kind of Hulk Hogan, Richard Belzer style on Cody. Cody trying to get the momentum. It's interesting because Philadelphia is traditionally a heel town. A lot of heels get cheered in Philadelphia, but the fans here at WWE have been kind of playing it by the book. They've been cheering Cody and Seth and booing Roman. So Obviously, there was a lot of good matches on. Hey, my buddy Jonathan, he's in Pennsylvania there. Yeah, buddy, I did enjoy that experience last time with you guys coming and having the virtual party. The reception wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. And I'm just a guy that I like a nice, clear image, and I did have a good time with you guys. I think me and Dr. Mike basically bored everybody with pro wrestling history, or maybe we entertained you, and who knows. I did hear Dr. Mike was recently got a shout out in the book, the Ric Flair audio book I just listened to uh, on Audible. So Dr. Mike was actually spoken of late in the book. He had a few nice quotes. Rocky just got tagged in. Jonathan, if you have any thoughts or comments or questions about tonight's WrestleMania Night 1, I'll go through the match by match, but any opening statements you have, I'd love to hear them. We're still, so now we're doing some good stuff. Cody has just spotted Mama Rhodes with the weight belt. This is going to be funny. And there's Brandy's dad. Now we're getting into some main event stuff. The Rock has got the belt with the bull and the mama. The Rock is now whipping himself. Now the Rock's getting into it with Mama Rhodes. I don't know if that was a Rabira, like the steakhouse in Japan, because the mom there seemed to have a Brahma bull on her jacket, but I think it was the Rabira Steakhouse. That's the logo. So for the WWE fans, they might be very confused. Why did Cody's mom have a Rock jacket on? Cody now doing fist and fire, a little bit of the shuffle and elbow like his father. It's funny because Cody always wants to get out of his father's shadow, but when you're in WWE, that's part of the game. Okay, Cody going it. Cody gets a nice spine buster. The Rock now looks like he's going to do the people's elbow. The WWE has become very Rock centric, as we've seen with the Leah Mia Via and the People's Champion belt. I'm wondering if The Rock is going to defend that championship belt. And no matter how this thing goes with Roman and Cody, I do see Cody and The Rock having a singles match, probably at SummerSlam. Rock just bounced off. Cody bounces off. Oh, Cody with a nice Cody cutter. And is Cody going to pin this guy or what? It's hard to believe that this Cody Rhodes was the guy that was fighting with Sammy Guevara for the TNT title 2 years ago. Jobbing to Malachi Black in 2 minutes of Dynamite. All types of things that Cody did in AEW. Cody now lifting up The Rock. Cody going for the Cody cutter, but look out. Here comes Seth with the big Superman. This could be it. Reigns has got a bloody nose. He's fighting leukemia. All types of fun stuff, Jonathan. And anyone else who's watching. I'm not sure if my friend Ian Patrick Gagnon might be joining in. Jonathan, if you feel like putting your 2 cents in, buddy, I can send you the link if you want to get on camera and do some analysis with me. I'm always willing to share the mic with other intelligent wrestling fans. Everyone's got their opinions about these things. Overall, it's been a fun night. Like I said, I don't think it was the blockbuster of 2 years ago with Austin and Owens, but this has been a good night. Okay, so Roman now is doing his breathing dragon thing. It looks like he's going to hit The Rock by mistake. I'm guessing that The Rock's, so Roman just speared The Rock. Okay, fair enough. You can kind of tell by the hesitation. And now Roman's, check it out. Now what's going to happen here? Seth with the kick to the midsection. Cody with the kick to the midsection. Seth and Cody with double pedigrees. Is Seth going to get the pin? Nope. Double kick out. So this is going into extra innings. It looks like this match is going to end up being pretty long. I think we're going to hit the half-hour mark. Good stuff. Good foreshadowing. If they ever do the Roman Rock match, we saw a little foreshadowing of that, which was nice. Cody now talking to Seth Rollins. Let me crack my neck. Oh, that felt good. Interesting day, folks. WrestleMania Saturday. it is kind of an interesting thing. I think that this is the first year. I think this is the fourth. Is this the fourth 2-night WrestleMania? Or maybe I think it's the fifth, actually. Oh, Cody and Seth doing a little hug. That's not going to end well. They're kind of psych each other up, or they arguing. Looks like Seth has got a limp in his gullet here, a little limp in his leg. Seth now going to the top rope. This probably is not going to end well. No, it did okay. Seth did a flying body splash. Don't know if Seth is actually selling the leg or if it's a real leg problem. It's hard to tell with these guys. Like I said, the money match here, folks, is The Rock and Cody Rhodes. If The Rock is, I gotta give The Rock credit. He's 50 years old. He looks better than any of these guys. Of the four, I gotta think that Cody or Seth is the oldest of the other three. Oh, The Rock drinking the water, spewing on Cody. Be good if he went over to Mama Rhodes and gave her a little taste of water too. Bonking Cody on the table, little old school late 90s Spanish announce table stuff. Now Cody is, The Rock is intimidating Brandy's father and The Rock's mom. That's funny. Be kind of interesting if together. I don't know if Brandy's parents are still together, but her father's there. And let's see here, the Rock. He's got Cody on the table. This could be flipped around. Oh, look out! Seth Rollins grabbing an ankle. And the Rock kicked off Seth like he's a wasp. Uh-oh, Cody now. Ooh, Cody with the rock bottom on the Rock through the table. Those tables just break so easily. Roman with the nice spear through the barricade on Seth. This is a good tag match. I don't know if this is the greatest tag team match in WrestleMania history, but they're doing a good job. The match has picked up. I thought it would be over by now. That's why I started this live telecast at 10:45. But as far as what we got now is Cody is trying to get back into the ring. Yeah, that it looks like they've mastered the art of the collapsible announce table, because after 30 years of doing this, destroying tables, they've figured out how to do it, apparently. Let's see. Cody is lifting up the Rock. Going to roll him back in. Cody's going back in. Rock's already in. Oh, Seth came in with a nice, the old punch on the canvas. He's got a name for that. I kind of forgot it. Let me know how my audio is, fellas. If anyone's out there and wants to comment, let me know if my audio is fine. Another tag here to Roman. Roman, who we should all know is battling leukemia as we speak. And I do feel for the guy if that's the case. Looks like Roman is holding his neck. Yeah, Roman. I don't know if it's just the power of suggestion, but Roman does look a little bit smaller. I don't know if that's just comparison to The Rock, or has Roman lost 10 or 15 pounds? I mean, he still looks great. It just looks like he's a little bit less Roman-y than usual. And who knows? I mean, it looks like he's gone down a pant size or so. A little more streamlined physique. Doesn't look quite as small as the guy that played Kerry Von Erich in the Iron Claw. Roman now picking up Cody. A blocked punch. Cody with the punch. Roman with the punch. We're kind of doing that independent wrestling stuff now, where two guys stand in the ring and just punch each other back and forth. Cody with a nice overhead. Roman with an overhead. Cody to one knee. Cody with the punch to the midsection. Uppercut by Roman. Cody with the bounce off the ropes. Going for a Cody cutter. Once again, this time he actually did catch it. Holds Roman. He's going for another Cody cutter and gets it. So that's two. And now he's picking up good old Roman, looking for a third Cody cutter, but Roman gets him to the ropes. Rock with the whip of the belt. this actually is a really fun match. Cody is now selling the whip. Good for him. Oh, Roman with the bounce off and the spear. And do we get our 3 count with this? We'll see. Who's our referee here? Is it Jack Doan, or it kind of looked like Mike Chioda for a minute, but I think he's been gone. Roman. Oh, Rock demands the tag. Roman gives it to him. So Rock is now legal. It's not by the way. Just another guy that looks like Chioda. Whoever this ref is, he seems to be doing a fairly good job. The Rock now standing over Cody. He wants to give him his whatever the fuck move. Let's see. Yep. Rock hooks in Cody for a rock bottom. Cody knows it's coming, but he still gets the rock bottom. And now the Rock is looking around. Is he going to do the people's elbow or not? So fun wrestling weekend. The Hall of Fame last night. I did my review video of that. Oh, the Rock doing the one thing. He's not raising the thumb to make the loser thing, as people pointed out. Now Rock's doing his little rock bottom dance. Goes for the elbow, nails the people's elbow, hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Well, I would hope that Cody's going to win the title tomorrow night, because if he just took a pin pretty much clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring from a fucking people's elbow of all fucking things. So I would assume that Cody's going to win the title tomorrow. We could be wrong. But if he doesn't, he's going to look like a real asshole, to tell you the truth. If Cody ends up getting pinned or beaten twice in one weekend by these guys, they are destroying their number one baby face. I mean, I was kind of debating with my pal there, Ian Patrick. He thinks that Cody might lose this match and, lose tomorrow night, basically. But I don't know. I think it's a done deal. I think Cody's going to win the title. I'm renouncing my earlier prediction. I thought that Roman Reigns might beat the Bruno Sammartino record, but he's not going to. I think Cody will probably win tomorrow night. Who knows? It's possible they don't have a win. All right, folks. So let's see. Let's talk about this WrestleMania. We're seeing the closing moments here. Roman and Rock with a nice bro hug. Cody Rhodes getting pinned. I mean, I guess you could say that there was some cheating with the belt whip, but they also fought outside the ring a whole bunch. So I just think it's a deal where Cody just got beat clean. So tomorrow night, I mean, I do like this whole setup where tomorrow night it's Bloodline rules, and that means basically all the assholes, Solo and, the other Uso and Paul Heyman and, Rikishi and the ghost of Enzo can come in. Seth Rollins looking dejected. Seth Rollins selling it very well. Cody selling it. It'd be great if somebody threw a rubber turkey at Cody again. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this whole leukemia thing with Roman Reigns, I mean, not to harp on it, but they did mention it. So I think it's fair game to discuss. If Roman is really going through some tough times with leukemia, he might just be gutting out this weekend and preparation to drop the title. Looks like a flashback to last year. Cody sitting in the ring with his elbows on his knees, dejected. And Roman and with his title, and The Rock with his fabricated title. It's just, why doesn't everybody just make up a championship and this is like Herb Abrams' UWF, where everybody just has a belt that means nothing at this point. It's interesting to see Paul Heyman as the kind of sort of manager to The Rock. And so, I mean, here we go. Philadelphia, they were making a big deal, the commentators, about how cold they all were. My feeling is drink some cocoa, gentlemen. It looks like the crowd is okay. I mean, no one's out there with a winter blanket around them. Cody has a sad look on his face, but he has no one to blame but himself. It might be an interesting wrinkle if they had Seth take the pin, because then Cody might have a dispute with Seth. But instead, Cody got the Cody looking dejected is priceless. I got to give it up to this Cody Rhodes guy. He really does play the baby face pretty well. I mean, he's not as big as a Sting or guys from the past, or even Cena, I guess. But I think Cody plays like the baby face well, because he does have these moments of looking disgruntled and pathetic, and I'm getting a good chuckle out of it. Jonathan CT, Jonathan Steele, if you want to chime in, please do, or whatnot. All right, so now we're in with our end shot of Cody and Rock and Roman. So now they're doing the flashback. So let's go through this, folks. If you're just joining in, this is your buddy Mike Messier. Like a lot of other podcast people, I'm just doing some nice WrestleMania Night 1 thoughts tonight. Let's go through these matches and see what we saw. Blah 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 blah. Just want to find the results. It's so hard. First match tonight was Becky Lynch challenging Rhea Ripley for the women's title, and one of the women's title. It gets confusing, doesn't it? When you have to have double champions for everything. But I thought it was good. I thought that the opening match was pretty strong, very strong. I was kind of thinking they might have Becky win. I'm pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you, how good Becky Lynch looks, both in the ring and just as a human being. After having a child, she really looks like she's child-free, and that is a compliment, believe it or not. She just looks really like herself, and she's wrestling quite well. I remember a few years ago when one of the Bellas, I think Brie Bella, had a kid, and then she never really wrestled the same. And I think she stiffed Liv Morgan in a match on Raw at some point. But in any event, Becky Lynch did look really good in defeat. It was a good match, and there you have it. So I thought that was a good, strong start. I thought they might have Becky win, because if they did, they'd have something for Rhea to do. She could just chase her around a little bit. But they didn't. They went with the hot ticket right now, which is Rhea Ripley. She's growing her hair out. She is very dominant. She's excessively popular, especially with the wrestling fans, the simps, so to speak. So that was that one. And what did we have next? I think the next match, if I'm not mistaken, was that giant tag team match. The two sets of titles on the lines, on the ladders. And I'll be honest with you guys, you've heard about the hot dog match, where people take a break from watching the wrestling show to get a hot dog. I kind of had a moment like that. I had what I would call a shower break. I was very physically active today, and I just wanted to clean up a bit to enjoy this night of wrestling. So I took the opportunity. They had so many commercials in that moment before the tag team thing. So I did not see the whole match, to be honest with you. I did catch the end, and I did see the two belts picked up. I thought that was interesting that they had the two belts. And welcome to the show, my buddy Gonzo. How you doing, pal?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing really good, buddy. I was just talking about the tag team match. Did you catch? Let's go back to the first match. Becky, this is my buddy, everybody, Ian Patrick Gagnon. He's been here a couple of times before. Ian, let me ask you. You're in Florida as well, correct?
Yeah.
And what did you catch the first match of the night? Becky Lynch and our defending champion Rhea Ripley. Did you catch that one?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was a really good match. And them talking about her having like the strep throat, I think they said, and she had like 102 fever and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, I didn't know that. And I'm like, well, that's pretty crazy if she's going to go out there and, it's tough to, I would imagine it's tough to go out there and do a show like that if you're really sick. So, but that was a good match. I thought it was really honestly, dude. Like anything, either one of them are in is usually pretty good, or really good
Yeah.
or great. Like they're two of the best, I think. So, I like that match.
Did you going into it? Did you have a prediction one way or the other of who was going to win between Becky and Rhea?
Yeah, I thought Rhea was gonna win.
I actually thought, I mean, sure, you could cover the bases and say I thought Becky might win, but I thought if they did have Becky win, I thought it would might be good because then you'd kind of have like something for Rhea to do for a few months, like the chase to get the title back. Because ultimately, when you get down to it, with any wrestling, but it seems with women wrestling especially, a lot of times they don't have in the women's divisions across the board, both AEW, WWE, and a lot of other companies, they don't really have good storylines a lot of time for women unless there's a title involved. And basically, Rhea's whole thing has just been how dominant she's been. If she were to lose to Becky in some type of close match or a cheat, a screw job, or whatever, they'd have something for Rhea to do. And then if she were to get it back at SummerSlam or whatnot, then she's a two-time champion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
But
mean, it's a good point, and thinking about that, it's like I don't really know where she's going to go next now, right?
right,
So
I'll say
we'll
I'll
have to
say
see.
this. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, Ian. There is no short of women's talent because when I go to these NXT shows in Florida for WWE, I was one in Gainesville on March 23rd, one in Jacksonville, I think on March 2nd. They have so many women in NXT, and some of them are ready. I mean, I've been saying for a while that what was the one that was in with Mandy Rose a couple of years ago, the 3-woman thing with Mandy Rose?
Oh,
Uh,
Gigi Dolan, probably.
Not the other one.
Oh, the other one, fuck, I don't remember her name, but I know you're talking about.
JCJ.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
JCJ is beyond ready for the main roster, and I think she's had a couple of matches on Raw. Like I think they brought her up for a match or two, but it doesn't stick. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, every time she comes out in the NXT house shows, she's really. I don't think that anybody can be much better as far as just being a professional, especially with the WWE system of just the composure, solid heel work, not doing too much, not doing too little, instant reaction from the fans. She looks good doing everything she does, but she doesn't. She's a heel and she knows it, and she wrestles like an effective heel. So um, that's someone they could bring up, and because Rhea would still have the body size advantage over a JCJ, they could do some type of storyline where there's like a psychology element to give JCJ the upper hand somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that although what does Rhea do next is a great question, I think that if they really want to go into, and then there's a whole bunch of women, I'm telling you, in NXT that could easily challenge Rhea if they want to bring somebody up real quick. And then of course you got Jade Cargill. Uh,
Yeah,
Let me ask you, what do you think of Jade so far in WWE before we get to our next match?
I thought so far it's been great, and I feel like okay. She's been in the Royal Rumble, and then she had this match tonight. And I feel like I mean, what, she's been in a fucking WWE ring for maybe like 20 minutes tops altogether now. And everything that she's done in WWE has been leaps and bounds better than what they were doing with her in AEW. She looks like the star that she was kind of supposed to be in AEW, but they just couldn't capture that and they just couldn't present her in that way to really bring her up to that level. And it's like seeing her entrance tonight. Same thing at the Royal Rumble. Like even at the Royal Rumble, dude, that place popped when she came out. You know what I
Right.
mean? They were into it. So I mean, so far so good. I think I've enjoyed it a lot what they've done with her, and I mean I have to imagine that. I mean, what she signed with them probably at least 4 months ago or something. I think she's been training like crazy. So, and I think she's shown improvement in the ring. So, I mean, somebody like that, I feel like she could be ready real soon to be going into a main event picture with the women's division.
What do you think about them putting her in a 6-woman tag tonight as opposed to some type of other situation, a 2-on-2 tag match or even a singles match? Why do you think they went with the 6-woman?
I think they went with the 6 woman just because they needed to get all those girls a spot on the show, and that was
Okay.
just that was just what probably made sense. But um, I don't know. I don't think it really hurt anybody, because it's not like Bianca Belair has been in the title picture lately, and Jade Cargill's not title picture. Naomi just came back. So, I mean, I feel like it was suitable for what they needed, you know?
Yeah, it felt like a showcase match, basically to
Yeah.
showcase, the three ladies that they wanted to showcase. Naomi returning. She's been back for a little bit of time. She came back at the Rumble, and of course Jade Cargill, the new signee, and like you said, Bianca's kind of fallen out of the title picture, but she's still a big deal. And even CM Punk and I want to say Big E said this on the pre-show that having 3 black women as a tag team was kind of a big deal because I would probably guess that was the first time in WrestleMania history, or even I would definitely say WrestleMania history. And
Yeah.
I remember when Sasha Banks first came in, didn't she join Naomi and who else did she join in like a 3-woman team for a little while? Remember what I'm talking about? It's like when they brought in Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks all in the same night. Like Stephanie McMahon says, this is the women's evolution, and she brought the 3 of them in and basically assigned them to cliques, and she put the 3 black ladies together, which was Naomi, Sasha, and there was a third lady.
Was it Alicia Fox?
It might have been, yeah. It might
I'm
have
not
been
sure, but
whoever it was. I got to look that up now because that's gonna. What was the group called?
the more that
called
I'm
like
thinking about, the more I'm thinking about it now, I really kind of think it might have been Alicia Fox, dude. I
it
could
might.
be totally wrong, but
I
it was
gotta
a
look
long
it up.
time ago.
It was like 2018, something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
or
it,
even before.
it was a click. Um, it was a click that didn't last, and it was just ridiculous because it's like Stephanie McMahon is determining who your friends are. And basically with with Sasha, it's like, well, here's 2 other black women. I'm going to put you with them. You know what I mean?
That's
Like it was
funny.
the most low key racist thing ever. Well, Sasha, you and these other 2 black ladies, you could all be together, and I'll put Charlotte with these other, and whoever Charlotte was put with was like the athletic girls, and then Becky was kind of put with like the alternate chicks because I think Becky was thrown in with Paige and somebody else. It was really horrible. It
It,
was really bad.
it very vaguely sounds familiar to me.
It it,
Like
it got a
I'm
lot of
remembering little pieces.
it was given a lot of slack because it's like Stephanie McMahon comes in, basically takes credit for the women's revolution, and basically assigns cliques. Like you're going to be in this clique, and you're going to be in this clique.
Hey,
um,
sounds like a McMahon move.
Yeah, and this was like at the 2016, 2017 when they were really um really
Probably when they
bad.
had that women's pay per view and all that too.
Yeah, well a couple of years before that basically.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
right, right,
I
right.
did find it. No, this I didn't find it. I thought I found it. Yeah, women's yeah. Oops. I was trying to find that announcement on Raw whenever it was. Let me jump in on this Jade Cargill thing for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you just articulated what a lot of people have been saying about Jade in AEW, that they didn't use her the right way and they didn't showcase her. I want to ask you, like, or just point out first that she was there. Her very first match, I believe, I was there for it at Daly's Place in Jacksonville. Was her and Shaquille O'Neal defeating Cody Rhodes and um, Red Velvet.
Oh, Red Velvet.
Red Velvet took Brandy's spot because Brandy
Oh
got
yeah,
pregnant. Something.
right.
Brandy was either pregnant or injured, so Red Velvet took over the match, and that's why I was doing this because like Red Velvet started doing something with like a soup or something, like that became like Red Velvet got a hand single of soup after a while, but and the way that I remember it, Jade Cargill pinned Red Velvet. So in a match where you had Shaquille O'Neal and Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet, Jade Cargill got the winning pin. So that was her first match ever, right? She's tag teaming with Shaquille O'Neal in her first match. Then they basically created a title for her to win. They created that TBS title for her to win in a tournament, and somewhat surprisingly, she beat Ruby Soho in the finals of that tournament, which was kind of a big deal because Ruby was someone they were building up, and Ruby had just come from WWE. And then she, I don't know, did she hold that title for a year or a little bit more?
What's
And
around there? Yeah.
yeah, and she pretty much was squashing everybody. I mean, there was some good matches, but she squashed a lot of people along the way, and they made her look incredibly strong. And when she finally lost the title, it was on pay-per-view. She beat Taya Valkyrie pretty quickly, like in 6 or 7 minutes. And then she kind of made an open challenge to anybody. And Chris Statlander came out. And Statlander wasn't really somebody they had built up as a top challenger or anything. I think she had just been injured and was on her way back, and there she was. And I think physically, Statlander was the only one somewhat in the ballpark of Jade Cargill in AEW. And they had Statlander beat Jade for the title, but once again, that was Jade's second match in a row, right on the same show. And then I didn't see this one, but I think they had a rematch on Dynamite or Rampage where Statlander beat Jade again. But I think by that, yeah, I think at that point Jade had already decided to leave. So I guess with all that evidence, I mean, I would say that they did. AEW not only gave this lady Jade her start, and sometimes they would show her daughter in the audience, and even though Jade was like the heel, they'd show that she had a human side because she had a kid, and like this was, she was her kid's hero if nothing else. And they even gave her a little click, like they gave her like her own little Hurt Business. They gave her she had a name for women, like the baddies or the nasty, the baddies,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
right.
And it was so Red Velvet. Red Velvet was one of them.
Yeah, like the chick that she squashed.
Yeah,
and she did that with the other one, the other really super attractive one. I think she beat her too.
I think the two girls she had was Red Velvet and the Hogan, Kiera Hogan. I think
there was a third one.
Was there?
Yeah, really hot chick. Another one that was right up there. So my point is, I think they did a lot with Jade. I mean, I think they. I think what could be. Go ahead.
I agree with all that, and like I can't. Okay, first of all, I can't say that AEW necessarily did anything like bad with her because obviously, like everything you just laid out is clear evidence of how they were pushing her, and she had the long title reign, she was undefeated, all this other stuff. I think that one of the issues was maybe not enough story with her, because everything I feel like with her was pretty much, she's gonna go out there and talk shit to the girl, say how she's gonna beat her, and then she beats her, and that's kind of like what it was. So I feel like maybe a little not enough story hurt her a little bit. But the other thing that I think, and I don't, did you catch the interview that Jade Cargill just did with Busted Open, like yesterday, the day before?
No,
did you see any of that?
I missed all of it.
So, okay, she was talking. They asked her, Dave LaGreca asked her, basically what made her decide to come to WWE. And, one of the things that she said was, I'm 31 and, like time is not on my side. So I don't really have time to be like growing with a company. But I think that, you know, when you look at a WWE show like this, like let's take this WrestleMania night one, and then you look at the AEW Wembley show from August. To me, and I mean, a lot of people may agree with this, a lot of people might not agree with this. This might make a lot of people mad. But to me, I feel like AEW clearly looks like the minor leagues next to WWE. And I think that that was a big part of her decision. And she kind of alluded to that in her interview of like, I want to be on the biggest stage there is. And, you know, I want to go somewhere where it's the best of everything. And she even alluded to like some of the training stuff and how it was like night and day, like all the training she's done and all the, you know, coaching and mentoring and all that stuff has been night and day compared to what it was in AEW. So I think at the root of it, that's what it boils down to is just I can either play for the Yankees or I can play for the, you know, Scranton Bulldogs or whatever they're called. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
And so
Scranton office
I
workers.
yeah, and I think that that's kind of what it boiled down to. And I think story too, because I think that, you know, at the end of the day, she was going to make her decision no matter what. And I think AEW did do a lot to, I mean, let's put it this way. If AEW didn't book her the way they did, there's a good possibility she's not in WWE right now.
Let me get back to the Jade Cargill debate in a minute. Let's take on some of our friends here. My buddy Michael A.J. Norris has 2 comments, and the Ghost of Gonzo has a comment. So Michael A.J. says, yo, Mikey, good pay-per-view. Sammy was a surprise, and every YouTube predicted Bloodline rules and Cody win night 2 because Roman beat Hogan and Mania record and 1,001 wins. So, yeah, there was something about Hulk Hogan's. See, Hogan doesn't have a record. Bruno has the record, right? But Hogan on that list of longest reigns, I think Roman tied that tonight or something to that effect or got close.
I think he might have beat it tonight.
Yeah. So,
and I think that he tied Hogan with like WrestleMania main events or something. I thought they said something like that.
I think it was like 8. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But the other thing is that I put this up there on the Foreign Object Facebook group tonight, which people are welcome to join. I said it's kind of nuts that Roman Reigns' Universal title reign began by defeating Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in a 3-man match. And Braun was not the champion. Braun had lost the title to Bray Wyatt a week earlier. I think that might have been a week where they had 2 premium live events back to back during the pandemic era when they had like the TVs in the venue, actually in Orlando, the Thunderdome.
Oh, it's St. Pete.
Yeah.
St. Pete.
It's a major arena in Florida where they put all the
Tropicana.
Yeah,
Tropicana
they put all
Field.
Well, I think it was an indoor arena because they put all the TV sets.
Well, you know what though? They were doing it also from the NXT studio thing. So they were doing it from there, and then they went to St. Pete.
By the way, on the not to have anybody switch off, but they put the 3 ladies together on the WWE post-show press conference. They got Jade and Bianca and Naomi. So when I was watching that match, it's basically I'm thinking, okay, this is basically the calm before the storm because eventually they're getting to Bianca versus Jade. Like that's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? And I basically could see that coming a year from now at WrestleMania 41. So let's see. So I mean, basically, Mikey is AJ Norris is telling us that most of the people on YouTube kind of predicted so far so good. Rock and Roman win night 1. I wasn't thinking that The Rock would score with a people's elbow of all things. I thought that was
didn't either.
So if Roman spears Cody tomorrow night and pins him clean, I think Cody needs to cash in his chips because they're killing their top baby face if Cody loses tomorrow night, especially if he loses clean.
Yeah, see, I you know, like I was talking to you earlier about what I kind of the stuff that I was thinking about it. And I thought if Roman's going to win tomorrow, then Cody and Seth are definitely going to win tonight. And I just didn't like. I don't know. I just didn't expect that. I thought Rock or Seth was going to get pinned. I didn't think Cody or Roman would get pinned. And then for The Rock to just go in there and just fucking people's elbow, rock bottom people's elbow is done. I was like, really? Really, dude? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it does feel like The Rock is kind of having his fun being on the board, and basically, it feels kind of like dad dad died in his sleep, and now all the older brothers are taking over the family. So you got Triple H getting all this credit, Paul Heyman swearing up a storm on the Hall of Fame, The Rock giving himself a title for Muhammad Ali. All the big brothers of the WWE are now like, now that
Yep.
dad's in the nursing home. Let's have a party and let's put ourselves over even more than we already are. Here's a good one from the Ghost of Gonzo. I don't know if this is a friend of yours or
I don't know, dude.
maybe
I saw that.
maybe
Do you hate me, dude? Do you fucking hate me? What's up?
maybe that's his thing anyway. Maybe he's
Yeah,
always the Ghost.
maybe. Yeah,
Just a coincidence. I
yeah.
heard Yokozuna is going to be a surprise enforcer tomorrow night. Meltzer says he's down 100 or so pounds and moving like his 93 run. That's funny.
That's funny.
Yokozuna. I can remember watching WrestleMania 9. It's funny because my dad got married the day after WrestleMania 9. So WrestleMania 9 was kind of the bachelor party that we're sitting there watching this Caesar's Palace WrestleMania.
That was a
Which
horrible ending too.
it was a horrible ending. I mean, I just kind of laughed it off. I think even by that point in my life, I kind of a little bit emotionally detached from bad booking. Maybe
Well,
not
bro,
fully.
I was 6. I was 6 when
Yeah,
that happened. So I was a little kid. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
and I loved Hulk Hogan, and even then,
right.
I was like, man, what was that, dude? Like, really? What the fuck?
Michael had an earlier comment. Yo, we saw that one. And let's see, Mikey. This fresh start for WWE. This is a fresh start for WWE, and it's heading into the right direction. Drew winning set up him and Gunther. Okay, or Damian Priest, and that's another Mr. Money in the Bank, Mr.
Yeah,
Senior in the Bank. And I
yeah,
see Chad congratulating Sammy and turning heel on Sammy, winning the championship. Okay, so Michael's AJ is doing some fantasy booking here, and I like everything he's predicting or he's wanting to see. Um, we I mean not we, but the WWE freed up Gunther. They took the Intercontinental title off of him, which I feel like that's kind of like an Ultimate Warrior had the title when he did beat Hogan, but I think in other cases, back in the day when the Intercontinental title was really a stepping stone, with guys like Savage lost the Intercontinental title to Steamboat, and then a year later he's winning that big tournament. So I can see
yeah.
where Gunther losing tonight really does not hurt Gunther; it just kind of frees
No.
him up. And good for Gunther that he lost 1, 2, 3. I guess we'll jump around a little bit. What did you think of that Gunther Sammy storyline and then that match tonight?
I mean, I thought the storyline was pretty good. They were kind of doing the Rocky storyline. Sammy's Rocky, I thought it was pretty good. I like Sammy a lot. I think he's, just really, really good talent, and like he's funny. Like I never realized how funny he was until he did the Jackass match 2 years ago at WrestleMania, and then he did all that Bloodline stuff, and it was fucking hilarious, dude. So I mean, I like him a lot, and it was cool to see him have his moment. But honestly, that shocked me more than anything tonight, because I was like, dude, there's no way. Fucking, I thought maybe Gable was going to get involved somehow, maybe turn on Sammy, or I thought maybe Gable was going to throw in the towel. I heard that somebody said that online, and I was like, yeah, that sounds, somebody could throw in. I could see him throwing it if Gunther just beats the shit out of him, he throws in the towel. And then Gunther was beating the shit out of him. They're like, stop the match, stop the match. And I'm like, oh, Gable's definitely coming out and throwing in that towel. And then when he beat him, I couldn't fucking believe it, but it was cool. He had his moment, and I felt like they did it in a way that was pretty believable, I thought. Like I don't know. It didn't feel like forced. It didn't feel like totally far fetched or anything. You know what I mean? So I was cool with it. I thought it was the biggest shocker for me tonight.
The only I liked it, and I didn't do any of the prediction games, where people do the prediction polls. I was trying to find the one of my buddy Shane McKenna has this cool group wrestling fans on Facebook, and he always has like the predictions, doc, and I couldn't find it to be honest, but I would have predicted Sammy because I had a feeling that they didn't put the title on Sammy last February over Roman, which was understandable that they didn't, although I think they could have, because Sammy was white hot back then, like LA
Oh
Knight
yeah.
got white hot, and, others have gotten white hot that they haven't cashed in on. But I thought Sammy, they could have done more with him. They did give him the tag belts with Kevin Owens, which really felt like a consolation prize. But I thought they did a lot with Sammy, and I think that whether it's Triple H or a conglomerate of Triple H and The Rock and Heyman or whoever is making these final booking decisions, I think they kind of said, "Hey, look, Sammy's a guy that has cooled off a bit, but if we gave him a little sizzle and gave the people a reason to be behind this guy, we can kind of build up another top baby face." And Sammy's so good, as you said, with the humor and the personality, that he can be salvageable as a top guy, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's so hard. And I think even Triple H said this years ago, like 10 or more years ago, it's really hard to book a top baby face these days because the fans really like cheering for heels. And I think when you get a guy who's like that, in our buddy there, Sammy Callahan, who can be a top baby face and really be a baby face without being a heel, then you do something like this and you give him a Rocky story. And I was there for it. I enjoyed it.
Sammy Callahan.
Yeah, Sammy Callahan. And I'm sorry, Sami Zayn. Did I say Sammy Callahan?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Because I hate Sammy Callahan. Sammy Callahan's the one with the baseball bat on Eddie Edwards. And he's the one up to the Tessa Blanchard. We got some more comments here. This guy I actually have known probably since before some of you guys were born. My buddy Alex Clark and I went to high school together. We watched a lot of wrestling together, including Steamboat beating Flair in February of '89. So probably before some of you guys were alive. And that was a school night. That was a Monday night. So basically, Alex, last time I checked, Alex was a big University of Nebraska aficionado, and he ended up going there to college. So Alex says AEW lost Jade because they have no developmental. I'm not sure what that word is supposed to be. League, because they have AEW lost Jade because they have no developmental league. So here's this. Tony Khan said on a couple of occasions that their kind of B and C shows, AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation, which I think aired only on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I went to an AEW Dark taping at Universal Studio in Orlando, and I think in the summer of 2022. And it was painful. It was, I mean, I love wrestling. I love seeing live wrestling. But this was about 4 hours of squash matches.
Yeah.
And it was tough because I love going to live, and I'll watch a squash match or two. I have no problem. But it got to be very repetitive where somebody, kind of a mid-carder there in AEW, like who was the Bear Country, that mid-card tag?
Yeah, I know them.
So they turned heels. They came out with a new manager and had a new name called like the Iron Shield or the Iron Vikings. And they came out as heel. They never did that on Dynamite with those guys, but it was just a very long process of watching squash match after squash match. Tony Khan came out at one point, which was nice. Britt Baker came out and cut a promo, but she didn't wrestle. So my point is, it was just kind of tough. But Tony at one point said that AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation were their answer to NXT. And there was some groups in Florida, I think there was even one in Jacksonville, that were kind of feeder leagues to AEW. I think Powerhouse Hobbs kind of came through that. And there were other wrestlers. I can't name them off the top of my head. Like there's those Renegade twins. Like there's a female twin tag team that were the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions at one point. They beat Pretty Empowered at the pay-per-view I went to a year ago. But a lot of these AEW talents did kind of work their way up. They would get a trial match on Dark or Elevation. They would broadcast it no matter what happened, if they got signed or not, and then they would decide whether or not to sign them. There was also a couple of stories where people that wrestled on AEW Dark, the WWE would swoop in and sign them. And I think the WWE they did it just to fuck with the AEW, because anybody that seemed to have like a cup of coffee worth of potential, the WWE figured, hey, if AEW took a look at them, we'll take them to NXT, and most of them went. So it's funny how WWE will say they don't have competition. We're head and shoulders above everybody else, yet they'll do whatever they can to undercut anybody else's progress. You know what I mean?
Well, see, but something, the way that I kind of look at it as far as AEW and WWE right now, I basically look at it like a cat playing with a mouse. Like WWE is just like playing with a mouse.
Here's my response to that. I think people often forget that AEW didn't exist until 2019. So this company is still less than 5 years old. I think the first episode of Dynamite was October of 2019. And I think they had a pay-per-view or maybe one or two before that. And before they actually had a weekly TV show, they were doing a couple of pay-per-views. And then, of course, the All In, which I guess was the summer of 2018, if I'm remembering correctly. But my overall thought is just, I think people, and Tony Khan does it to himself, so he's part of the problem. And some of the wrestlers are part of this problem. But when they kind of bark at the big dog, and like Tony Khan does, and with the tweetering, just like Trump, Tony Khan needs to get off X or Twitter. He needs to take a vacation, because if they just went by their own standards, this is a company that's less than 5 years old. They have 2 weekly shows on television. They have a successful pay-per-view business model, old school pay-per-view, not streaming. But people actually have to pay $50, or if they go to the movie theater like I do, $25 to watch an AEW, pay-per-view, which they used to do 4 a year. Now it's up to 6 or 7. And they have action figures. They have T-shirts. They have ad revenue. Are they making money or losing money? I kind of think they're making money. I don't have the books in front of me, but if nothing else, and this is not to just say that this is a pity party, but like, good old Adam Copeland, Edge, said on his promo the other night, they're giving wrestlers a chance to get paid to wrestle. And a lot of groups, especially the independent wrestling scene, there's not much money there. And for whatever reason, MLW, which has given us a lot of people that people don't even realize. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman came from MLW. Swerve Strickland came from MLW. The Von Erichs were in MLW, the new Von Erich generation. Tony Schiavone was in MLW. NWA, Billy Corgan holding on to that flame. The remnants of Impact Wrestling, or TNA. None of those 3 groups have come anywhere near the success of AEW. No. So as far as a number 2 group, I don't even like when Tony says challenger group, because like you said, Gonzo, WWE is kind of head and shoulders above everybody. But I think for a number 2 group, AEW has done some amazing things in less than 5 years.
I totally agree with you. I mean, when you look at, where they're at, in 5 years, I mean, there's nobody else has done that. Like people could, everybody goes back to WCW, in the 90s or whatever, but some people don't remember, like WCW was around for 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years before they got hot, and AEW is a startup, and it's only